Hello and welcome to the Omsi 2 Top 10 Maps 2021 edition. In this video, I'm going to be showing you some of Omsi 2's finest maps, including freeware ones, payware ones, RHD ones, LHD ones, city maps, and rural maps. Some of these maps are very recent, so this is an update from the last video that was made last year, as well as one that was made in December 2021, and this time with commentary as well. One thing to mention is all maps are free unless stated otherwise, and there's only 2 payware maps, so most of these are freeware. So without further ado, let's get into the Omsi 2 top 10 maps. Also to note, a disclaimer that this of course is subjective and you may disagree with this list. So, of course, that is understandable, and we'd love to hear from your opinions as well. But nonetheless, these are some of the finest maps in Omsi 2 out there, so let's get into it. At number 10, we have Liepāja 2020. This is based off the real-life city of Liepāja in Latvia, which is Latvia's 3rd biggest city. And this is one of the most expansive Omsi 2 maps out there, and being one of the biggest maps with routes that are also quite long and many bus routes to explore. Here you can see the Kempesiele area, which is the city center near the Danube River of Liepāja. And here is one of the longest routes in the map with a drive time of 1 hour and 30 minutes, the 13 and 13A. This map is 70% real and 30% fictional and allows you to witness countryside roads as well as deep into the Latvian city center of the deep into the Liepājan city center in Latvia. And here's some more screenshots of the more rural-esque sides. And one thing to note with the map is since it's so expansive, in some areas it's more of quantity rather than quality, as you can see here with the trees but not much else. But nonetheless, the city center and the main Liepāja area is quite well decorated. With this map, the buses are not the limit. You can also drive a tram line, the real-life tram line, Line 1, which is based off the completely real line in Line 1, which is also operated by Tatra KT4DMs. And here's some more screenshots of Line 1. As you can see here as well, the other thing to mention is this map has minibus lines as well, so you can drive minibuses, city buses, and trams. And here is a list of all the lines featured. As you can see, it's quite extensive, and there are numerous lines for you to explore. This is really one of the biggest maps for Omsi 2, and a great way to keep things fresh with loads of new areas to explore. At number 9, we have Nowe Piekarze, which is a fictional Polish map. And with this map, the same as with Liepāja, the buses are not limited. You have your tram line 5 from Vagovo to It's about 20 minutes long. One thing to mention is this map also features a bus depot like Liepāja as well, which I forgot to mention. We also have the 97, which runs a bit parallel to some of the tram line, but also expands out further into the surrounding areas of Nowe Piekarze. And as you can see, there's lots of flora and fauna adding to the realism of the map, and some nice backgrounds as well with the backdrops, which adding to the scenic rural vibe. At number 8, we have Chicago Downtown, and this is a payware DLC costing 20 quid or 20 euro or whatever is the equivalent when you exchange, determined by the exchange rate. And this is really the only US map in Omsi 2 that does the US justice, and it's really the only high quality US map out there. And it recreates the real-life city of Chicago in the United States. It features a garage, as you can see here, some AI trains, some folding bridges, and also AI dumpster trucks. And there's the garage in the right-hand side background. As well as that, there's also a highway allowing you to drive up to 100 kilometers an hour in the 2 buses featured in the game. The hybrid version here, which is the articulated, and there is also the diesel version, which is a solo. There's also some nice backdrops in the background. When you're driving back towards the depot, you get to witness this really nice scenery. And there's also landmarks for you to explore with those little eye circles there that tell you what the landmarks are. So it allows you to really explore and do some sightseeing in the Chicago area. And then here's also the line 124 with an AI train in the background. Overall, a very nice map and a fresh breeze from the usual generally European style maps out there for Omsi 2. At number 7, we have the Smarden. This is one of the most challenging maps out there for Omsi 2, and this is a fictional UK map with some routes that are short and others that are quite long, with a 347 and 349 both to ride being being just around an hour long. And this has some really nice scenery with a lot of attention to detail going into the flora and fauna and some lakes as well. And it's also got some challenging hills and steep hill climbs where you really want to make sure you're using the right bus. Here is the Wansum bus station, which is in the city center area, and there's Wansum station, which is a rural bus station from Berlin Spandau, just renamed. And there's some more screenshots. At number 6, we have Teta, which is a interurban, or not an interurban, it is an intercity map. It's based off the Bavaria region in Germany. So it's a fictional German map with 2 routes, the A342, which is an hour long, and the A343, which is about half an hour long. This again, like Smart, features some hills and countryside, and a lot of detail has gone into the flora and fauna. It's basically like Smart, but with LHD, and generally, the AI, this is the MB0307, but again, quite nice scenery with lakes around as well and lots of trees. And there is a church in one of the villages, again, kind of typical of the smaller towns and villages out there. And here is also the train station, and if you look, you may see AI trains driving about. And there is a locomotive in the background at Briesig Bahnhof, which is Briesig Station. At number 5, we have the Gainsborough Phase 2. This is a relatively new map released this year, an expansion of Gainsborough, which had lines 1, 2, and 3, which are carried over into the add-on, but as lines 101, 102, and the 103 has been split into 2, with the 104 being a new addition, as well as the 100, which runs to Saxby. This has some great opportunities for trash along the country roads with flora and fauna. And just to mention, I think actually all the maps in this featured in this have depots, so that's why I'm not going to mention in each map that they have depots, but some of the honorable mention ones don't. And here it is, the 100 to Saxby, with some nice villages, and again, a lot of detail in the flora and fauna. And there are some more screenshots of the line, which allow you to explore the map. And at number 4, we have Wroclaw or Breslau version 3. This is based off the Wroclaw city in Poland and features 3 lines, the 119, the 125, and the 325. Here we are at the outskirts at Aleja Piastic, and we are in the outskirts at the very end of the city at a turning circle at the end of a housing estate. Again, some nice scenery with lots of flora and fauna. Although there is no AI trams, there are some static trams placed around, because you'll notice a lot of tram tracks along the map. There's also some dual carriageways, and there's the main bus station and dual carriageway there again. Number 3, we have West Country version 3. Again, a relatively new UK map that was released about a few months ago, and it features a seaside as well as a motorway or a dual carriageway, whichever you want to call it. Some nice seaside villages, as well as the city centre and country roads into the Totnes area. And there you can see a hill climb at the cliff with the Malava Sea at the background. And there's the 100, which is a park and ride route. This map features 5 routes. The 12, the 100, which is a park and ride route, the 35, the X35, an express route, which is an express route allowing you to skip stops and again make the most of your trash potential, and as well as the summertime only open top route, the 122. And there is the seaside village of Stoney, and there is some nice rural roads along the X35. At number 2, we have Belgrade, based off the capital city of Serbia, Belgrade, in Central Europe. And this map features 3 lines, the 15, or 4 lines, the 15, the N15 and the 15N, the 45 and the 71. It's quite detailed, especially in the Zeleni Venek area, and the Grand Koya Moss is one of the most scenic areas, with bridges always offering a lot of scenery. And if you're a bit further back, you'll see the backdrop as well, which is quite detailed backdrop of the city. And there's also some more areas in the further outskirts, which are again change the scenery a bit from the generally city vibes, and there's some large boulevards, as is usually the case with Central Europe. And here we are at Ledine, which is near the back of the airport, which is not featured in the map, the back of the airport that is. And then here are some honorable mentions. So while all the maps I mentioned had bus depots, a lot of these honorable mention maps don't have bus depots, so that's just one thing to mention. So all the prior maps we mentioned, they all have bus depots, so that would be Gainsborough has one, Chicago downtown has one, Lipaja has one, Novi Pekire has one, what was the one we mentioned just there? Wroclaw has one, Marden has one, Gainsborough has one, and West Country V3 has one. But again, here we are at Bertoni Fictive. This has a bus depot. This is a fictional Hungarian map with some nice hills and countryside, so it's a bit like the Teto area, and it's perfect for coach bus. We have Budapest or Buda. This one doesn't have any bus depot, and it doesn't have any AI buses or AI trams, although there's a mod for AI buses. Didn't really work for me, but then again. But nonetheless, it's quite a nice map with the River Danube and some great scenery of the Hungary area, of the Budapest area, the capital of Hungary. But one thing to mention is that the AI trams, there's a lot of static trams. It's a bit like Wroclaw. And then we have Golcheve V1.1, which is based off Szczecin. It's a fictional Polish map, and it's based off the 7th largest city in Poland. It's again quite nice with about 4 bus lines, although the tram line is no longer in the game, but because the tram line has been has some sort of works going on it. We also have Project Lublin, which is based off the real-life city of Lublin in Poland, which may be familiar to you from Euro Truck Simulator 2, and it also features a trolleybus line as well as the two bus lines there. So you have the 55, the 156, and the 158, or might be two trolleybus lines. And then we also have Dolny, which again is a rural-esque map based on the countryside. It's based off the Dolny area in the Czech Republic, which is a small winery. I think it was 4,000 inhabitants. So this is really a small map allowing you to explore villages and the deep countryside of the Czech Republic. RSV 2.1. We also have Yorkshire Counties, and since this is soon to become redundant with the release of Yorkshire Counties version 3, it's hence why it's been left to the Honourable Mentions. But nonetheless, this is quite a nice expansive freeware map out there. Again, quite challenging, but nowhere near as challenging as Smarden. And finally, at number 1, we have Adel London, a map that's been in the works for about 4 or 5 years. And as you can see, it is quite stunning. One thing to mention is this, like Chicago downtown, is Payware, costing €30, and it comes with 4 buses: the New Route Master, the Enviro 200, the Evo SETI, and the Enviro 400. The map is quite detailed. The only thing to bear in mind is that it has a lot of backdrops like the ones you can see in this picture, which takes away a bit from the realism, especially in a Payware map. But apart from that, it has some quite nice scenery and various routes with 50 routes altogether: the N2, the 3, the 12, the 12, yeah, so then we have the 12, the 45, the 59, the N68, the X68, the 68, we have the 133, the 159, the 201, the 322, the 415, the 422, and we also have the RRP and the P5 due in a future update. As you can see, the area does London justice. It looks a lot like London, the capital city of the UK. And here we are at Bricklayer's Arm, there's Streatham, and there's also AI trains to drive about, which you can also witness, as well as 5 bus garages. West Nord, where we are in the screenshot, there's also Camberwell, Walworth, Brixton Garage, and Waterloo, and 3 companies to drive from: Arriva London, Go Ahead London, Abellio, as well as Stagecoach as an AI line. There we are here at the Oxford Circus area. There is the East Street just past Elephant and Castle, and some more screenshots. And there's also a lot of sites for you to explore, and much like Chicago, they're marked with a little eye, a white eye, which you can which when I say I mean I as in the organ, not I as in the letter. And there is Westminster in the background with Big Ben, some nice scenery for you to explore, and there is Brixton Garage in the background. And that brings us to an end to the top 10 maps of Omsi 2. Let me know if you agree with this list, any maps you think I should have mentioned, and of course do comment down below. And with that brings us to an end. Make sure to subscribe for even more Omsi 2 and simulation content. Join the Discord for even more links to some of the best mods for Omsi 2. And that is it for now. Make sure to hit that like button if you enjoyed this video, found it helpful. Until next time, bye for now.